It seems as if, to me, am I okay in there? My volume was weird. Janky. It seems as if, to me, that the trolls are out in force on the super text line today, and that is the case maybe because of the Verizon outage. I don't know. Apparently, the Verizon outage is getting repaired. It was at a height of over 100,000 customers or whatnot. You just heard Ken Weaver talking about it. Now it's down to 60,000 or so. If you're on Verizon, you probably have no success. Are you on Verizon?
I am.
Okay. Debbie's on Verizon. I haven't even introduced her yet. Have you had outages?
Not that I know of.
No problems that you know of?
I've been calling and dialing and scrolling. I'm good.
All right, so maybe you can call, maybe you can't, 615-737-9986. But I got this from 3077 who wrote in and said, no discussion about the one-finger salute and potty mouth from Grandpa. I
loved it. I thought it was awesome.
Yeah, we can talk about it. I'm fine with it. If y'all haven't figured out now that you're dealing with an individual that is purely authentic and he is going to react in an authentic way, and he does not predicate his reaction to anything based on what he thinks people are going to think about him. He does not base the reaction that he gives you based on, he doesn't do this, mental gymnastics as to, how are people going to perceive this and how's the media going to cover it? He could give a crap about how the media covers him, and he could give a crap what you think about it. He had a protester saying some of the most nasty things imaginable to him. And you can say, it's beneath the office of the presidency of the United States of America. Since when? Since when?
I don't know. I think the cigar under the desk was worse than this.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Or the fact that, John F. Kennedy had regular concubines in the White House or whatever. I mean, y'all just get over yourselves. I thought it was awesome. Hey,
I did
Debbie.
too. Hey, how are you? I thought it was great too.
My good
because he does what we wanted him to do. Right? What we would have done.
Right. I mean, he's being screamed at, and the guy's throwing out F-bombs and all of this kind of stuff, and so Donald Trump gave him a little something.
It's been 10 years of withering attacks. The man is over it. He's got the office, and he's going to run. So let him do what he's going to do.
He's going to do his thing, and he is doing his thing, and some of which I agree with, some of which I don't agree with. By the way, someone asked me, and it was a late into the conversation with Marsha. I would have asked Marsha this question. I did not see it. I did not think of it. And I appreciate the intelligence of the listening audience that they brought it up. Someone said, what about the tariffs? I disagree with these tariff refund checks. I don't think that the government needs to be giving us refund checks when we're almost $39 trillion in debt. We are manufacturing and spending fake money that is money only on paper, and it will be the existential downfall of the United States of America if we allow it. And so while that's going on, I don't think it's a good idea to send us back these checks from the government because people are just going to become dependent on them. That's my take on that. So there you go.
Well, I'm glad you had Marsha on. I was in Nashville when she was at the State House here, State House or Senate, whichever one it was. And whether you like Marsha or not, Marsha Blackburn is the one that left the chambers, went outside with the news media and said, hey, guys, they are going to try to enact a state income tax. We have to stop this now. And for nothing else, she deserves that for keeping Tennessee free.
And that was long before I got here. But, I mean, that was a story that made national headlines. It was a big enough story that we talked about it in Alabama at the time that it was going on. And I believe that, unless something dramatic happens, and I'm not discounting Congressman John Rose. I like John. He's a nice guy. I'm not discounting Monty Fritz. Monty Fritz is not going to be your next governor, but I like Monty.
Right. Me too.
But if even with some of the concerns that some have had with Senator Blackburn becoming Washingtonized, and I can understand that, and it's a fear. I think she'll win the governor's race on what you just brought up alone. I think people remember it, people appreciate it, and people believe that she stood up for Tennessee at that moment.
Unless something goes completely wrong.
Yeah.
As I say, bearing acts of God or civil disorder. So we just have to say there is one thing that I want to remind everybody, and this was a Tennessee Star report in 2018. And I think we all need to be remembering this real quick if I can.
Yeah.
It says, midway through the 2 terms of Governor Phil Bredesen withdrew the state of Tennessee from the federal refugee resettlement program, creating the opportunity for the U.S. Office of Refugee Resettlement to designate Catholic Charities of Tennessee instead to administer the program for the state. Okay? So this NGO was given permission to run the whole refugee thing for the state. Once Catholic Charities assumed that role, it is estimated that in the first full year they were in charge, refugee arrivals to Tennessee increased by approximately 66%, even though refugees' arrivals nationally had declined. According to the latest annual reports published, Catholic Charities of Tennessee, and was the years between 2015 and 2017, 56% of their total income was received from the ORR, totaling more than $20 million for resettling refugees in Tennessee. Now, this is if it's the Lutherans or the Jewish resettlements or Catholic Charities, before they even get here, that charity gets like $2,700 a head for bringing people in. Mm-hmm. This is a grift, and this is happening in every state, and Tennessee is in the middle of it.
What we need, and I brought this up with Marcia, if you want to get back to the genesis of the issue, and I appreciate the fact that the federal government's looking into Minnesota and the grift that's going on up there, and I appreciate the fact that they're planning to look into California, and they're planning to look into these other states. The problem is that these states cannot manage their own money, and they look to the federal government for what is essentially fake money. We overspend by trillions of dollars annually.
You're right.
We need to shut that down.
Exactly.
Give these authorities back to the individual states, and we need to shut down these programs that should not be under the purview of the federal government to begin with.
Right. Well, here's one for an example. The state needs to retake over the refugee resettlement.
Yes.
Okay? Because once the refugees are here, ask any of your state legislators that come in, how much extra does a school get in federal funding for a child if they are not language as a first language?
Do they get more?
Oh, yeah. It's like triple or double what a normal student gets. So these schools really want these kids that don't speak English because they make a lot of more federal money for them coming in and having to train them. It's a grift from start to bottom, guys. And so anyway, that's my spiel.
Well, I appreciate your spiel. Debbie Matthews, by the way, I guess I did not, by way of introduction, let folks know who you are. For newbies in the listening audience, Debbie's a good friend. One of my first friends that I made in Nashville, Tennessee.
I know. It was so
nice.
good.
Debbie she's a noted political figure in Murray County. You were on what were you on the county?
I was on the city council for 9 years.
Okay,
I take full credit for the downtown of Columbia.
Do you now?
I do.
Well, you should.
Because it was empty. In 2008,
it wasn't Moldy's.
No, we handed Mulder a perfect scenario for him to just keep on auto drive. Yeah, but the unemployment was 23% in 2008. We had an empty downtown. Yeah, we've done great things.
Columbia's jumping.
It is, and now we've got this new resident that everybody calls me every 5 minutes about. I mean, truly, I can't get the phone to quit ringing because there's a new resident in Murray County. Yeah, I bet. So Matt Murphy is my new neighbor.
Get this guy out of here.
Oh no, the Rotary's called, the Kiwanis is called. Everybody's calling.
Would you please, Debbie? You're the perfect person to do this. Young Jackson Williams is behind the glass.
Hey, Jackson.
Jackson is our executive producer,
and he's probably going to need a home soon.
Right? Well, at some point, his parents are going to kick him out of the basement. But would you please tell Jackson that Mount Pleasant is in fact in the state of Tennessee, because he denies that I'm still living in Tennessee.
I've been telling him he's been moving to Venezuela.
He is definitely in the state of Tennessee. He has moved to a little town called Mount Pleasant, where everybody knows if your check is good and your husband is not. That's what a small town's about right there, okay? So, Mount Pleasant is thrilled that you've moved in.
I've eaten in the Mount Pleasant Grill now 5 times. 5 separate occasions.
You haven't done Pizza Place yet?
I've not done pizza. We're doing that when we actually move.
So, I've got you a list of all the places that you have to eat. Columbia, Murray County centric.
Because that's what we do in the South. We figure out where we can eat.
Well,
yes,
yeah, you can't dance or anything else. You might as well.
No, that's true.
You got to eat.
Jackson
I just have a couple of questions here. What was your experience like working with Matt?
Oh, my gosh.
Well, hold on. Let me set it up real quick, and then I'll give the floor to Jackson. Because not only is Debbie, so that's way in the middle. So Debbie's here for a couple of reasons. I mean, I'm not here to promote Debbie as a realtor because she doesn't need me to do that because she's really, really good at what she does. But Debbie was my realtor, and we worked with Accurate Mortgage, Mike and his team over there, and they're great folks. And I think y'all had a good relationship.
It was
a great experience.
Yeah.
But when we decided to find a place, I called Debbie, and I said, help me out. Now, the fact that I'm in Murray County might have a little something to do with the fact that Debbie was my realtor, because I feel like she was sending me all of the good stuff from Murray County.
True.
She was holding out.
Don't make my Wilson County friends or my Sumner County friends. I put him on a drip, just like I did Murray County. He saw all the things that came on the market, and we saw things in Wilson County.
At one point, so in my price range, and I won't get into necessarily my price range, but this is funny. So we gave you the criteria. Said this is what we're looking for. This is the type of house. This is what we need. We want guest room, and I need an office. Yada yada yada. And Debbie said, well, I'm going to put you on the drip.
I'm going to put you on the drip. That's what I call it.
And it is, you get your email inbox, the homes that come on the market that fit your criteria, you get them. And so I got them from Sumner, and I got them from Wilson, and I got them from Murray, and
I think Rutherford County too.
And I got them from Rutherford. And I at some point I said, hey, is Cheatham on there? She said no. I said, let's put Cheatham on there.
We added Cheatham, and we added Dixon County.
And we had Williamson County on there, and I called Debbie one day, and I said, Debbie, do you not have Williamson County on there? And she goes, yeah. And I said, well, why don't I ever get anything from Williamson County? She said, remember, you're going to have to make more money.
Because ain't nothing for selling under 1.2 in Williamson County. You just say, ain't going to make it. No, seriously. They're few and far between. We could get you way out in maybe Fairview out in the Dust Bowl somewhere.
I guess.
But it's rare for a house to come in at a normal range.
Well,
and you were very smart. You said, this is what I want to spend. But you had a very specific thing. And actually, it wasn't an overnight thing. You had contacted me when I first came on the show. Thank you, Robbie Starbuck, for introducing us.
That's right.
And we looked at cabins. We looked at things, and I would send you stuff as it would come up, but you weren't quite ready yet.
And I thought, and I was convinced that Columbia was too far. I had convinced myself in my head that it was too far. But when you find the right place, what I discovered about Mount Pleasant is not only am I going to love living in a small town, and Mount Pleasant most certainly is. And then, my closest bigger town is Columbia. What is Columbia? Is it 50,000 yet? 50,000 people?
It's closer to 40.
Okay. Well, but it's a beautiful little town. I love watching Debbie's expression change when I say that Columbia, it's the Franklin that you can afford.
And we're like, we don't want to be Franklin.
And you say that every time I say it.
Listen, Franklin just used to be a bus stop on the way to Columbia, Tennessee. Seriously. Williamson County used to be a bus stop all the way to Columbia, Tennessee.
There's a significant sibling rivalry.
Murray County was the richest county in this state forever because of our cattle farms and our dairies.
And your phosphate. I'm now living in the former phosphate capital of the world.
My dad used to run those plants.
Yeah,
and so we'd be sitting and eating dinner, and we'd have great dinners and talking. My mother cooked a meat and three every night. It was just amazing. Then all of a sudden we'd hear something go, poof, and my dad's boots would just catch on fire on the hearth because it got phosphate on them, because it will ignite. So we're over here beating the shoes. And it was like instant fire. Yeah, that's phosphate. We grew up with that, but so we were new. And then the EPA came out and said, you no longer can use phosphate in detergent or toothpaste. And so it shut everything down overnight. Everything, And now I don't think phosphate's a big deal. It's probably, so anyway.
Not to me. All right, but back to Jackson's questions. Jackson.
Yes, come on, Jackson.
The floor is yours.
What was it like working with Matt? Or if you need a good therapist recommendation, I've got you.
We have a lot of alcohol in Murray County, so we're okay.
I'm sure.
It was actually. Let me tell you something. You can tell the quality of a human being by who they marry. And this man has married a wonderful woman, Erica Rocks.
I can second that.
Absolutely. And so, but what was interesting is during the process, I sort of gave Matt a couple of tests, sort of like, is this something, and he always defaulted to take care of Erica, which was one of the most amazing things because I deal with a lot of people that don't do that. So.
Well, and you said something interesting. I want to talk about it in a minute because I think this is of general interest. This is not about my house. That's not why Debbie's here. But it occurred to me that a lot of people go through this. I had not been through it in 18 years. I mean, the last time I bought a house.
And I don't think your last experience was good, right?
No, it was horrible. The realtor she was horrible. And I didn't know what the difference was.
Right.
And now I do.
Yeah.
And getting a good realtor is so crucial to having a positive experience. I mean, obviously a mortgage company is crucial. All of the aspects are crucial. But if you don't have that point person that's an advocate for you and that wants to learn you, and you and I had an advantage because we already knew each other, but wants to learn and get to know the people that they're working with and figure out, because you got to learn them before you can figure out what house they're going to gravitate to.
Yeah, you sort of just, It's interesting. And I told you something up front. And you didn't believe me. I said, y'all can say that you like something all you want to.
This is what I was going with.
But until I hear a certain noise.
Debbie said she wanted to hear the grunts.
You have to hear. No, listen, you walk into a house, people are like, oh, this is la, 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 la. But when they walk into the house and they go.
And they get quiet. And
no, they go.
Ooh.
Oh, yeah. That's when you know you got the house. That's right. And I didn't hear it till y'all hit Mount Pleasant.
Well,
we
that
almost heard it in
cool.
Mount Juliet. We almost did. And it
was
had there's a house out there with an assumable loan. If anybody's looking for a 3% loan that's assumable, there's one out there in Wilson County if it hadn't sold yet.
It was very close. It was very, very close. But the big deal on that was the lack of a guest room on the main floor.
Yeah, I mean, it wasn't right.
It's just interesting what certain customers. I mean, you see them every day. What customers are looking for.
What you had told me up front is that for a long time you said, I want a log cabin that's not a log cabin inside. And so you were looking for a unique property. And when we rolled up on this one in Mount Pleasant, I meant, this is a work of art. This is a mid-century work of art. It is a gorgeous house. And it's 5,500 square feet.
Good gracious.
I know. What are you going to do with all that?
I have no idea. Go roller skating.
But congratulations.
Well, thank you. I appreciate it. All right, 23 after the hour. If you've got any questions about realty or real estate, Debbie's your person. And we'll talk a little about Columbia and the fact that water rates are about to go up. We'll discuss that next on Super Talk 99. And Jackson, I know you have more questions for Debbie. I'll get out of the way and let you ask those in a moment on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. Super Talk 99.7 WTN. Our good friend Debbie Matthews is in studio with us. Not just, she's my good friend before she was my realtor, but she's my realtor. If you have any realty questions, I mean, it is tricky nowadays more than ever because, I mean, we're in this zone where interest rates are kind of going down. Housing prices are kind of going down. I mean, I think we're getting back to a better place in Nashville. Would you agree with that in terms of home buying?
Well, the stats are saying that Nashville is probably the least selling city right now, which is unfortunate. It was sort of like an overbuild real quick, and now it's sunk a little bit.
And everything seemed to be overpriced.
It was well, you had these, I mean, Trump did everything comes back to property and interest rates and things. And Trump coming out saying, we're not going to let BlackRock buy these big swaths of things because about 22 or 23, the real estate market was running so hot and heavy you couldn't catch your breath. And you were like, who is coming in here? There was one house in our brokerage that sold $300,000 cash above ask, okay? That is not normal people doing that. And of course, a lot of it was from California and stuff. And right now, after Mandani got elected, I started getting calls from New York. Absolutely. So we're probably...
And by the way, nothing against these people. There are people that are trying to escape.
Listen, anything outside of New York City is farmland. They are conservatives as they can be, but they can't put up with the BS anymore. I mean, didn't they just allot a Muslim month? Didn't Hochul just do that?
I think so, yeah.
So anyway, they're gnawing their legs off to get to freedom. They really are. And I tell them up front. But
they're bringing cash and they're hurting us.
Well, yeah, because, they're selling their house up there. A small house, an 800 square foot condo in California sold for almost $1 million. So they come here and look what they could buy for $1 million, right? So, but the market's not that yet. And the interest rates have sort of tapped it down and prices are dropping back into a saddle where they should be. And time on the market is longer than it used to be, but it's still now. It was an average time of 90 days to be on the market, and that was normal. So now, after this big hot market, if it was on the market longer than 4 days, everybody thought, what's wrong with this house? But that's not the way it is. So everything sort of slowed down and you could take your time and do good inspections like we did for you, because during that time when it was hot, people were waiving inspections. They were waiving appraisals. It was crazy, and you shouldn't do that if you can help it. But the interest rates being where they are, there is a trick, and if you got a good agent, they can do this for you. I'm a good agent, so I could help you do this. But you can negotiate an interest rate buy down as part of your sale. Mm-hmm. And that can save you a lot of money.
We did that.
Well, you bought it directly, but we could have. But we negotiated a lot. Yeah,
that's right.
So, it is about an agent and what they know that they can do for you,
All right, Ken Weaver's newscast right now. Matt and Todd want to ask questions or have comments about easement and assumable loans, something that I've learned a lot about over the last 3 or 4 months. 31 after the hour, Super Talk 99.7 WTN. Super Talk 99.7 WTN. A few more minutes with our good friend Debbie Matthews. She's here for a little bit. We got nincompoops in the news coming up in about an hour from now. You find yourself a nincompoop there, Jackson?
Working on it.
You're working on it. I don't feel like you're invested in this victory this week, and if you allow it, Ken Weaver's going to snake in there, take a victory today. I feel like I got a pretty good nincompoop today.
Ken's winning nothing.
It's about time that that trophy moved, I think.
Now,
Ken's had it for too long.
I believe that.
Trophy looks good over here in the anchor booth, boys.
Debbie, have you seen our trophy? Well, it's over there.
I've listened to the show when y'all are talking about nincompoops.
Let me tell you something. This is a beautiful. Dr. Mitch over at the Wellness Institute of Nashville presented us with a weekly trophy that we now pass around for the nincompoop in the news winner on a weekly basis. It's a trophy and a crown.
Oh, wow.
Got a crown with it. And I'm not talking about some plastic piece of junk crown. This is a hefty metal crown.
So somebody takes a picture of this, right?
Oh, yeah. Okay. And Weaver has possessed the trophy and the crown for the entirety of 2026.
That's because I know how to find stupid people getting arrested.
It's almost like you do it for a living, Ken.
That's right.
All right, let me talk to Matt, who has a question or a comment. Hey, Matt, what's going on?
Hey, Matt. Thanks for taking my call, bud. I got a quick question for Debbie about an easement.
Hey, Matt. Oh, those are sticky wickets, yeah.
I know, and it may be out of your wheelhouse here, but I was just going to ask. So I share a driveway with a homeowner, and I'm a new home buyer, so I don't really know these answers. So I share a driveway with a homeowner behind me, and who is responsible? He has an easement, obviously, through my property. Who is responsible for the upkeep of that easement, as far as like gravel and?
I would say yours to your house, and then from his on, it would be his responsibility, right?
That makes sense to me.
That makes sense to me. That's what I have. I've done a little research, and that's what I've came up with. So,
but if he's using it a lot, and let's say he's pulling out of that drive and flinging gravel, I'd have a conversation with him that he's going to have to help put. Is it gravel?
It is.
Okay. Now, for people that need to know about easements, if you've got a piece of property and you want to sell like the backside of your property, you can only allow, in Murray County, I would say, check this with all your local, but you're allowed to cut one easement per property. You can't have more than one, I don't believe. So you've got your one easement. Were you the primary house owner, or was he?
Well, like I said, there's one driveway and there's two properties on it. I'm the front driveway. I'm the front house, and he lives behind me about 300 yards.
So call your register of deeds for your county. What county are you in?
Dixon.
Oh, they're so good over there. Call the register of deeds and just say, hey, can you pull up my deed? There's an easement on here. I'd like to have the information on the easement, and it might be written in there on who is supposed to take care of it.
Okay. Yeah, I looked on my deed, and there wasn't any additional notes or anything, but I just didn't know if there was a general rule or law. And these people are great, I have to say. And they're, what it is, there's like mud puddles and mud's getting on his truck, and he filled it in, but I didn't know is that my responsibility or his? I just didn't know.
Did he fill it in on your driveway portion?
It was, yes.
Okay, then that just means your neighbor's pissed. He wants you to fill in the hole. He's like, "Come on now."
No, it's after my drive where I pull in, but it's still on my property.
But it's okay. Yeah.
My property.
Well, I mean, he's being a good neighbor. He's
helping
y'all out.
Being a good neighbor. And Matt, treasure that, because he could sell and you could have a, So
you could get somebody like me moving in, a real jerk.
Right.
No, I'd love you here, man. You're welcome.
Nice to talk to you, Matt.
Thank you, Matt.
Thank you.
All right, take care. Todd, while we're talking about realty, Todd has a thought about assumable loans. Todd, I did not have this on my bingo card when I woke up this morning that we would be having a discussion about assumable loans, but here we are.
First of all, how do they come up initially anyway, and are they easy to find when you're searching for a home?
So if you got an agent and you're looking at a house, in the private remarks, if it's an assumable loan, most of the time they'll say, hey, this is a low rate, and you could probably assume it. It should be listed on the listing. Sometimes it's not. But the assumable loans are either FHA or VA loans. So they are really low, and they're out there, and that you can take over those. Now, Trump is talking about assuming other loans, all loans at a lower interest rate. But right now, it's only a VA or a FHA. And you have to pay the difference. So, like, if they've paid $200,000 off, you're going to have to you're going to have to come up with that difference to assume their loan where it is.
But there's a way to figure it out.
Absolutely.
Even if you don't have that amount in cash.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
There's some other things with the VA loans, like if they want to keep their credit for a VA loan going forward, they can't have so many out at a time. But, yeah, somebody should be able to see that for you, or just ask with every house, because everybody out there, the reason the market's slow is nobody wants to get rid of their cheap interest rate that they've got, right? So they're only selling if there's a death, a change of job, or a divorce. Now, last year I had 4 divorcing couples at one time because they're the only people that were selling their house, and it was not fun.
Lord of mercy.
Yeah. So I was going through it with them. But
You're a marriage counselor at that point.
it was, yeah. So, but yeah,
Todd,
check.
does that answer your question?
It does. Thank you very much.
Yes, sir. Very good. So, yeah, these assumable loans, you said they're VA or they're FHA?
FHA. Mm-hmm. So, like, if somebody just bought a house 2 or 3 years ago and they used a VA, they haven't paid a whole bunch off of it. So you're probably going to be able to get in almost with your regular down payment. But if they've been there several years and they have paid,
You got to come up with a bigger.
they have to come up with the rest of the difference. Yeah.
Sonia is on the line. Hey, Sonia. Good afternoon. Welcome.
Good afternoon. It's a little chilly here in Nashville today.
Let me tell you, it's going to get chillier tonight. I think we got to the high temperature at about 8 o'clock this morning.
All right. Mm-hmm.
Oh, I'm not talking about it. No, I wanted to hear about Debbie's assumable that she's got in Mount Juliet.
Oh.
Well, it's not
Very
mine.
much
It's a
recent.
listings of someone's out there that we went to see, and
still
I don't
there.
believe it was listed. I don't believe it was in the listing somewhere, but the agent told me about it. And there was probably $100,000 or $160,000 off, but it was a beautiful property. It is a VA loan for assumable. I think it was like 3.5%. Do you remember the
Wow.
address, Matt?
That's what I'm looking for. I'm trying to remember the name of the street.
And
Yeah.
then how much down, how much equity do they have?
I wanted to say that they had like maybe $125,000 worth of equity, which would have been close to a 20% down payment, depending. But there are bankers that can help you with that difference if you can't come up with it. You just have to have good banking people, which Mike Hoover was awesome.
I'm looking to buy that for an investment.
Well, it was awesome. It was an awesome
great
house. It was really a great house. I just can't
wow.
remember the street on it because it was early in your process, and you almost made an offer on it, Matt.
We did. We were close.
Yeah, so it would be.
yeah.
It was the end of a cul-de-sac. Had a beautiful fenced-in backyard. Had a wonderful downstairs area that.
Sonia, you contact, and there were 2 garages. Remember that there were
2 garages.
2 garage
His
areas.
and
One
hers.
it was a big shop area. I'm going to scour my brain and scour my web. And Sonia, if you text me on the super text line, same number you called in on.
Okay.
And just give me some contact info. I'll figure it out in my head, and
Oh, that'd be great. I'd love to have it.
I will. I'll find that property and send it to you. Okay.
Okay,
All
thanks,
right.
Matt.
Yeah.
Good luck.
No problem at all. Good luck, Sonia. I appreciate you. 615-737-9986. Let me before we get back to questions about realty. I knew that, by the way, the realty thing would explode.
Yeah.
Columbia Power and Water. Your take on all of this?
Yeah.
I mean, Columbia, let's start here.
Yeah.
Would you agree? I think most people agree, whether I'm talking to Scott Sapicki, Debbie Matthews, Sheila Butt, or these knuckleheads over at Columbia Power and Water. Most people seem to agree that there needs to be some long-term planning about water resources in Murray County.
So Murray County in Columbia sits on the Duck River, which there is a National Geographic movie based on the duck that only it and one other river in the world, in Europe, have the microbiome of life in it. Okay, so it's a precious resource. But when it's a drought, it's a mess. And the current administration down there has had unfettered development to the point where it's sort of out of control. We've also got the GM plant and a big battery plant that it makes you have so many millions of gallons of water set aside for them to use a day in case something happens. So, yes, there needs to be a water plan. Was this what needed to be done? No, I don't think so. But it went through. And so I don't know if it's a done deal. If you ask Scott or Sheila, I think there'll be the state stepping in because, like that guy was on, Matt, what's his name, was on Columbia Power and Water, said here on your show and basically said, well, if you don't like it, just buy your water from somewhere else.
That's what he said.
Well, I'm sitting here going, you're about to take a $500 million loan out to do this. Are you basically telling the county to go buy water from somewhere else? And what if they do? How are you going to service this debt?
And that's what I tried to ask him. Wait, so you part of your business model is wholesaling water to Murray County,
Right.
wholesaling water to Spring Hill,
Right.
wholesaling water when needed to Mount Pleasant,
Right.
and these other areas. And you're basically like, if y'all don't like what we're doing, y'all go pound sand. Well, what if they go pound sand?
Exactly. And it could happen. Now, listen, I was on the city council when it was a real drought and we were getting dangerously close to not being able to dissolve our sewage. You have to have so many gallons once the sewage is put back in to re-clean the water to where we couldn't do it. I mean, this problem's been going on a long time and everybody has kicked the can because then it starts raining again. You forget that you were low on water. But we can't ignore it anymore. Now, I would love to sell lakefront property with a dam there, but I don't think the dam can be built. And that's me speaking, and a lot of people are groaning about that in Murray County right now because I said that. But I don't think it'll hold water. And I lived through all of that, but I don't like the way this was done. It was a PR nightmare.
The new dam, I mean, I understand that there are people that are advocates.
They want it, yeah.
And look, I'm here to dream big, and I'm here to listen.
Yeah.
But
they didn't live through it the first time.
But they're also selling it in a way that I think is a little disingenuous. Oh, we're ready to go. It was 98% built. If it was 98% built, where are the roads that were raised for the property that was going to be flooded? You know what I mean?
So do you want to know my take?
Yeah.
Okay, so Normandy was approved by Howard Baker. And then Columbia and Murray County started raising hell because we had a lot of flooding, and it did flood a ton when I was a kid. And so under political pressure, they had to do a second dam, okay?
Mm-hmm.
So the story went that Normandy got built, and then Duck in Columbia's dam went up. I mean, it was there. The structure was there. Everything was there. And then all of a sudden they said that they were letting it go. And they blamed it on the mussel or the snail darter or whatever the hell they blamed it on. But it was an out for the government because technically TVA and the Corps of Engineers were not speaking to each other. And they realized an error that it was not going to hold over a foot or a foot and a half of water and would not be in the economic engine they thought it was. They made a mistake. And so in the 70s, for someone to bring up the environmental stuff and not go ahead and do something you've spent billions of dollars on, this was an out for the government. They made an error. And so I don't think it will hold water over there. I don't know. So
52 after the hour. Hold that thought, and we'll get back to a few more of your calls. We got Nincompoops coming up as well. Our good friend Debbie Matthews in studio with us on this Wednesday edition. No Cameron Smith this week. He is out this week, and we'll be back next week, next Wednesday. By the way, I should note, this is January 14th. It is my sister's birthday.
Yay!
And my brother, I'm understanding that my brother has her captive in the automobile, and they're currently listening to the show.
Happy birthday to you.
Oh, boy.
Happy birthday to
This
you.
is Debbie Matthews.
You have lived to be a sister of Matt Murphy.
Boy, oh, boy.
I know you've done good. Happy birthday to you.
My favorite memory of my sister's, she and I warring over our stereos because she had a stereo system with a record player, and I got a stereo system with a record player. And I think I was playing Van Halen, and she was playing Boy George. Culture Club, hated it. And she's cranking it. She had better speakers than me. And so she's cranking like, chameleon, like crap. And I was mad at her.
So how many years apart are y'all?
We are three. Is that right?
You're older
three
or
four.
younger?
I'm younger. I'm the youngest.
Oh, yeah.
I'm the youngest.
Okay.
I know Brian was in 71. I think Karen was in 70 or 69. I can't remember. I can't remember how old she is. She's old, though, boy. Old, ancient.
But
Still has purple hair, though.
Isn't it great to have a great sibling? You
Oh,
got two. I mean,
well-
really, to grow up with brothers and sisters.
Let's not overuse the word great, Debbie.
Oh, come on. Come on. It's great. I have a younger
came
brother,
around.
and it's awesome.
She
Yeah.
came. Karen and I came around.
But I also
came
want to say I'm thinking of you and John Henry today.
Oh, yeah. This was my gotcha day. Well, Karen is associated with that story, too, because she was living where, John Henry came into my life in part because of my sister. And John Henry came to my home. My brother helped me get John Henry over there. My brother and my nephew loaded John Henry up and got him to our house. We were going to foster him. We were not calling him John Henry at the time. I think we had named him Seabiscuit. I think his name was like Tiberius, and we had named him Seabiscuit because he was like a horse.
Which is my favorite movie of all time.
Great film. And then we ended up keeping him for 13 glorious years. We lost him a little over a year ago. So if you go to my
Thank you,
Facebook
God,
page,
for dogs.
oh my Lord,
Thank you, God, for dogs.
You know why I love dogs more than I love people?
Why?
Because they deserve it.
That's right.
It's 54 after the hour on Super Talk.